Hi, my name's Colin Farley. I'm here at the Seattle EMP for the opening of their fantasy exhibit. I heard there's going to be some archery, some sword fighting. I met a princess already, a bunch of cool costumes, and I heard there's going to be a lot of mead too, so I think we should get in there and check it out.
Upon entering the EMP, we were given our press passes and met by a whole host of characters, employees and public alike, all dressed up to join in on the fantasy illusion, and leaving me feeling quite inadequate. The Fantasy Worlds of Myth and Magic exhibition highlights the inspiration and creative processes undertaken to create many of the stories and images we've come to love. Concept art and costumes are on display alongside the interactive character quizzes and film clips, plus the odd weapon or two. The event itself had a lot to offer as well. The variety of activity booths included wand making, a sorting hat, rune puzzles, fantasy map drawing, magic card tutorials, and family crest making.
I didn't do a good job.
Yes.
Personally though, I felt the best was yet to come. An unusual marionette show, sword fights, and of course archery were all still on the list. But there was one step I had to take before attending any of these.
I feel like my quest needs to be lubricated with a little grog, so they say you need tickets, but we've been using this camera to our advantage, most definitely.
Ale, mead, cider, and grog were all on the taste tester menu. And as a responsible 21-year-old reporter, I knew I needed to cover every inch of the story.
It's a little more powerful than the other stuff. Can't remember the last time I fed a bow.
Adequately hydrated, I decided to test my skills as a marksman.
We don't want to point the bows at anyone else but the targets, and we don't want to point the bows at the ceiling.
Unfortunately, though, I once again proved to myself that fantasy-themed activities are not necessarily a strength of mine. So we moved on to the sword fighting, where a demonstration was given by a group known as the Knights of Veritas. There I began to ask myself if this breakdown of all things fantasy was perhaps detrimental to our immersion in the genre itself, to which Eric Slider had this to say.
It's like in The Wizard of Oz. Once you look behind the curtains, you can't see something the same way again. Once you've seen one of our presentations, especially if you've taken our historical swordsmanship classes, you can't really sit there and watch a movie the same way. You're always going to be going, oh, that was so fake, or whatever, right? To my head, an on and off switch for history and fantasy. If I'm sitting down to watch Lord of the Rings, I flip the switch so that the historical part is not there.
Most visitors agreed. It's not just about losing oneself in the fantasy, but exploring it, which can only improve the enjoyment one actually gets out of it.
No, you're getting to the core of the story when you break it apart. I mean, visual's nice, but there's, a heart to every story.
So this is a good old trick puppet.
So it's totally escapism, and it's creativity on a different level that I think sometimes gets disrespected because people don't understand it.
I was glad they'd helped me come to this conclusion because I now knew exactly what I needed to do. Grab my press credentials and really just jump into my own fantasy.
I could do anything in this.
The exhibit itself will be long-term, but don't wait too long to check it out. The Iron Throne and Tolkien manuscript pages only have a few months left. Oh, and if you do find yourself waiting in line, I don't really care.